Excuse me, it's hot outside. I don't want to wear socks. You'll just have to put up with it, okay? Now we've got a show to do. Put on a happy face. Oh, crap. It's the Dennis and Andy Show. Well, hello, everybody. It is the Dennis and Andy Show. Thank you for joining us. And pardon that little bit in the beginning. Who knew we were live? Anyhow, we are back. It is Wednesday, 3 p.m. I feel like I've been around the world in 80 days, but realistically, I've been down to Orlando and back from, we left Thursday early morning, got back last night. As you saw, I was on the bros. It was basically get back, throw the bags in the house, shove down some dinner, run up here to do the professionals with the guys. And it was a good trip. Daughter turned 21.
I know. 21. She is officially an adult.
I know. Helen was like, you should take her to Thirsty Beaver. I'm like, that would be fun. She wouldn't drink anything.
I was just going to
say. It would be fun. The Thirsty Beaver is just great. And when I say dive bar,
it's a dive bar.
It's not a put down, though.
No.
It is an awesome dive bar. We're talking no draft beer. We're talking PBRs, Coors Light. Well, Bud Light, let's be honest. I'm sure they have Bud Light. Nothing really fancy. Dennis even sucked down a PBR.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to do. But, man, we did. But it's so famous that even when guys like Steven Tyler and famous people come, guess where they go? The Thirsty Beaver.
That's right. But Courtney did have her first drink. We took her to the hotel bar Sunday night. Told the bartender she just turned 21 today. He's like, well, let me see that ID. So she pulled the ID out, gave it to him. And we were like, this is her first drink. And it was hilarious. The guy sitting next to us at the bar heard us, and he turns his head. He goes, sure it is, like that. And my wife and I are like, you don't know our daughter. This is her first drink.
And trust me, we've gone out. We've actually tried to get her to drink because, between the four of us, we always try different drinks, whatever they're known for. And Court, she just won't do it. She just will. And then she'd be like, nope.
Yeah, just smells it.
Yep, just smells it.
So I think, what was it? She got a Bahama Breeze, something like this. So it wasn't even like a beer or a shot. It was a fruity drink because, we told the bartender she likes, virgin pina coladas and Shirley Temple. So something like that with alcohol. So I think it was a Bahama Breeze. She smelled it and she took a sip of it and she was like, and just, that was it. So I ended up drinking a Bahama Breeze on Sunday night. Splitting it with Helen because I didn't really want it either. I would much have preferred a beer. So, but it was a fun trip. She's a big Star Wars nut. Did all that. I told Dennis, we hit literally, we did Hollywood Studios, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom. And in fact, have you been to Animal Kingdom? I can't remember. No. So we did Animal Kingdom and we did the safari thing, which I got to say is really cool because, they do have lions there, but they, they're not behind cages, but they're far enough away with the big moat and all that.
So Mufasa.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I learned something. So like a giraffe can get to 18 feet tall. Now I knew that. You look at a giraffe, you're like, duh, look how tall it is. A giraffe's tongue is 18 inches long. I've never seen my wife be so giddy and look at me and go, why isn't yours? And I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm not Gene Simmons. I can stick this thing out maybe an inch. That's as far as it goes.
Gene Simmons. Boy, that guy's talented.
Also saw an African elephant.
Oh, wow.
African elephant, his down below junk can be 12 to 18 inches long, whereas
So the same length as a giraffe's tongue. I'm seeing a correlation here with your trip.
right. And this was the African elephant. Now the counterpart of the American albino elephant, its pee is only about 6 inches long. So
Oh, so the
even,
American's always smaller. So it's the Andy version of
it
the
does
elephant.
it well correlates, because you know what they say, black dudes are supposedly fire hoses and stuff, and us white dudes are like Michelangelo's statue of David.
You mean standing proper with no arm? Okay.
Well, and
All right.
the little So
okay.
So there you go. Just saying, it was a good trip.
Yeah, and once again, Andy goes down to Disney, Star Wars, all of this, and what does he bring back? Anatomy details. You guys see a theme here in every trip that he goes on.
Tales of wonder. These are things you're only learning. Like they want to hear me talk about the Tron ride, which was awesome, or the Avatar ride. Very cool as well.
Nope, because Tron apparently has no junk, so it's not worthy of a discussion.
No, but you do lay forward on the motorcycle as you go through the ride.
I bet it does.
Randy Howell in the house. Hello. Hail to you, Randy.
We missed you last week, Randy.
We did miss you last week. We were like, where's Randy at? He's blowing us off. Randy's popping links. Thank you so much, Randy. Hyper Kaiju is in the house. Hello, Hyper. It's been a while for you, too. Marcus Kellegrew is here. Yay. Dennis Rodriguez, Spaceman. All the peeps are showing up. We're getting a good audience going. Comics legend. Will Kor-Drath grow his hair back in issue 2? No. In fact, we'll tell you spoilers. The hell with spoilers on that front. No, he keeps it the way it is because he's not worthy to grow it.
Well, not to mention it doesn't take place all that far in the future. He hasn't had a chance to grow it back, and we just don't magically grow hair back in this world.
That's right. Just like in this world, I don't magically grow hair back. Today on the DNA show, the genitalia of the animals.
So when you guys search, if we do the hyper links in the meta tags, all we apparently have to do is talk about animal junk. And this show will be the only one to pop up in all of YouTube. So
that's what I'm talking about. You want to get viewers, you want drama and stuff like that. You start talking about genitalia and stuff, it'll automatically like tag porn, and we'll just blow up this show to be one of the biggest ones.
Yep, I hear what you're saying. Different audience. Don't let Andy. Whoa! I'm reading that. Whoa! It says don't let Andy convince you he doesn't order Bahama Breezes on his own. Yeah, he orders virgin versions of them. So yes,
no, and I can honestly. This is not even a joke. This is the God's honest truth. When I was my daughter's age, the mixed drink I would get, and you can give me shit, I won't care. The mixed drink I would get all the time when I was in my early 20s was Sex on the Beach. I just loved the taste of it.
Wow.
It was alcoholic, and it was the only way I would get Sex on the Beach. And I was living in Florida at the time and single. So,
and it was the only way you'd get a slow screw, another popular drink that Andy had once.
Or screaming orgasm.
And then
that's another popular.
Boy, look at all these popular drinks that you've had once and said, nope, never again.
Well, when you're single in your early 20s and you go up to a pretty bartender in Florida and you order a Sex on the Beach and follow it up with, unless you want to help me with that, you're not going to get a date. At least this guy didn't.
Well, and one of our trips, I see he's a bourbon man. I love that. We are going to be going through, and you have to let me know if you want anything back. We are going to be going through Tennessee and Old Smoky. We will probably, if we can hit it at the right time, when the Old Smoky store is open, they've got all these incredible flavors of whiskey that they have come out with. And I will be stopping and probably participating and partaking in much needed replenishing of said alcohol and moonshine, because my moonshine is getting low.
I will. And I will also ask you to make a suggestion to them, which is hold up a bottle of the Old Smoky peanut butter flavor whiskey, hold up a bottle of the chocolate and go, guys,
they don't have a chocolate.
Magic. Well, they need to make one, and then they need to go smash and put them together, because that's where the magic happens.
Dollywood. Nope, actually not going through Dollywood, but hey.
Dennis is going to go to Dollywood and ride the motorboat ride, if you know what I mean.
Dollywood. I catch your drift. Wow. Once again. All right. So, guys, we have once again 2 great guests that we have on the show. Both of them are first timers. So let's bring them forward, guys. I know some of you guys are already in here, and you've obviously read the description. So let's bring them forward. Andy, who are you going to bring in first? There we go.
Mr.
Geronimo's first.
Geronimo. Rob is first. Well, us bald guys got to stick together.
There you go.
The guy with hair, but I control the mouse, so I control who comes in.
Okay, we'll bring in the next guy. The reason I was pulling for him then was because he's got a great name. Nandor Fox. So I will be calling him Fox Mulder throughout this entire episode because that's what I'm going to do.
The truth is out there.
It is. Had I known this ahead of time, I would have done one of the X-Files clips and intros, and we could have used that to bring you in.
I would have loved that. Yeah, next time. We can do that next time.
Now, I am curious because we were talking before the show started, Fox, and you said he referenced the show, and you're like, oh yeah, that's where it came from. You look kind of young. Are you saying that's where it came from in regards to you were born and your parents were fans of the show and threw Fox in for a middle name? Or you just really?
That's it. Yeah. No, I was born in 97 at the height, of X-Files. And
1 second. When was your oldest born?
Oldest was born in 96.
Oh. Wow. Say hi, Dad.
There we go. And I did not call him Fox, so no.
Yeah. It makes me wonder how many babies around that time, if that was a common thing or not. But no, yeah, my parents are just huge X-Files fans, and thankfully, I grew up really absorbed in sci-fi and in fantasy and comics and movies and things, and so it was a show that I actually enjoyed. I know sometimes people get named after things that they may not like or whatever, but I was proud of it the more I discovered it and got into it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you probably don't know this, but the artist John Bogdanove, he drew Man of Steel back in the early 90s, worked on the whole Death of Superman storyline, so on and so forth. He named his son Kal.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. That's
cool.
His son
too. Also,
now I remember, Bogdanove broke into the industry. I started in 1991. Bogdanove started, I think, around 86 or so at Marvel, and then he went to DC. So, he was working on Superman when his son was born. I don't know the exact year his son was born, but it was probably around 91, 92. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. Like if I grew up and my name was literally Kal-El, Superman's birth name, it's not as popular if he were to name him just flat out Superman, because then everybody would go.
He could have named him Clark Kent.
He could have named
first name Clark, middle name Kent.
Right.
My son, if I would have had my choice, would have been named Tiberius, and that gives you a hint at what I like.
And then your wife said, "Oh, you want to be
divorced?
You want to be divorced and be paying me child payments every month? I see.
So you can make that payment out to Tiberius.
That's right. Or you can stay married and name him something normal.
Oh.
But no, I mean, it's like, I just honestly, if my dad named me that, I just think it's pressure, Kyle.
There's not a lot of flexibility with that. Like with Fox, there's some flexibility, and it's it's not necessarily it's more broad and general, but Kal-El is so specific. You couldn't. Yeah, I would be shy to tell people my name.
I would basically be like, just call me Cal.
Yeah.
Now, Nandor, though, that's your first name.
Yes.
Nandor. Sorry, where'd that come from?
That's Hungarian. So my mom, she's from Hungary, and she had both myself and my older brother, and my parents decided to name us Hungarian names. So I don't know, it just worked. And it's one of those things that I think the name Nandor is related to Ferdinand, and the meaning behind it is like traveler or adventurer. So
is she first generation or?
No.
Oh,
Her yeah, my grandparents came to America and then
right.
had her, and yeah.
Okay. Okay.
See, that's cool. See, we're getting into origins of the names, which leads into the next question. So now we understand your background. So now we need to find out the origin of Geronimo.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
going
there
to
we
say,
go.
what's the origin of
That's
Rob?
Good name.
No, Geronimo. No, we have to understand where this comes from because now I have a preconceived notion.
Oh, okay. Well, often people think that I'm Native American, so I am not Native American. That's
Mm.
always common first. So I am Filipino and Italian. So the name actually comes from the Filipino side, and they were
Oh,
conquered by the Spaniards. So many
Mhm.
of them have these Spanish names. Geronimo means, I believe, in Latin. Also, it means sacred name. So Jerome, like Saint Jerome. So that's why they called Geronimo the Apache warrior Geronimo, because it meant sacred name. Because every time they heard his real name, they knew, oh no, we're in trouble. That's why the Mexicans called him that. So it's really cool. So that's the origin. Yeah, that's
Oh,
really
that's
good.
cool. It's
Yeah.
fun. Now, and this is a serious question. Do you know what Dennis means? Like, because every name has a meaning. Do you know what Dennis means?
yeah. Dennis comes from
Now, don't make this up.
the
I'm
god
being
of
serious.
Dionysus because
Uh-huh.
it's the
Ah,
god of wine. So
yeah.
yes, I do know that.
So what's it mean? Like Andrew. So my full name's Andrew. Obviously, I go by Andy. But
Mhm.
Andrew, and this just literally cracks me up because growing up, I've always been called Andy, short nickname, whatever. But growing up, I honestly, my middle name's Christopher. So Chris, I always thought that was a cooler name. I always thought Andy was just really kind of a weak pansy ass name. But the funny thing
It
is,
still is.
F you, buddy. Andrew means, and you can look this up. I'm not bullshitting.
It's my
Andrew
middle name.
actually means manly. So
Yeah.
F you.
Wow, so they got that one wrong when they named
No,
you.
it should
Okay,
be.
well,
That's my
we
middle name,
learned that
Andrew.
one.
It should mean pansy.
No,
But,
that your parents named you that in hopes that one day you would achieve manhood. Instead,
Oh my.
they got
The
this.
ideal.
Yeah, but okay,
Holy
we
smokes.
understand how that works.
Well,
now.
it's weird because like with all this transgender junk that's going on these days, and they talk about puberty blockers and stuff. One of the things that can happen if you put a boy on puberty blockers, because they love to say, "Oh, it's reversible. Just take them off. Everything will be fine," which is total bullshit. And one of the things that can happen to a boy is his junk won't mature. So if you do take him off, he'll be an adult with junk the size of a kid. So now I'm looking at my parents going, why did you put me on puberty blockers and then take me off? And they're like, we didn't. And I'm like, so if somebody in my family is like this too, that's rude. Why, God, why?
So notice once again, folks, at the 17-minute and 30-second mark of the show, we come all the way back to junk.
Elephant
Notice the
penis to Andy.
To Andy, yes. Puberty blocker, hormone blocker, Andy.
I'm telling
We
you.
know how this show is going.
Guys, back Kor-Drath the Awakening so I can go get plastic surgery and be a man.
Oh my goodness.
Those are what the funds are for.
Oh dear Lord.
That's what the funds are for. Now it all
Take
makes
pity
sense.
on me.
The hints
It's
were there.
amazing that I
though.
have a child, and I know she's mine because she actually looks like me. So there was no mailman involved.
Oh, I
But,
think somebody just asked for a refund. Oh,
damn.
damn.
All right, well, let's get back to it. Okay, so back to the show. Dennis, stop distracting us. The three of us are having a conversation, and you keep pulling us away.
Uh-huh.
All right, Rob. So we always start origin story. Take
Okay.
it away, Dennis. I know you like
All
to
right.
ask these hard
So
questions.
when new and you both get a chance at this, but
That's right.
Geronimo, we like to ask the origin of how did you get into comic books? Like, what was your first comic book? Did you buy it? Were you given it? And then how did you get into creating comic books? So the origin of the comics in your life.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep it brief. My mother was a Superman fan. She was actually a Superman collector.
No
And
shit. That's
yeah,
awesome.
She bought me my very first Superman comic.
Do you
at
know
the
which one
grocery
it
store.
was? Do you remember?
Yes,
Do you...
I still have it. It was from it's the one where he's breaking out of the chains. It's that image. It's a very famous image from the late 80s or early 90s where he's just kind of like going like this. The chains are shattering.
Yeah.
He's kind of like in a silhouette, kind of almost. And it was just so explosive to me because I was like, wow, this is different than my picture books as a kid. This feels like it's happening in real time. You know, it was like he's literally breaking out of those chains. And, you know, when I opened up the comic, it was the same thing. It was like an animated film or a movie taking place right there. There was so much movement. And I have to say, you know, right from then, I was hooked because then that was like the binge of Batman, X-Men, all these different comics and all these different characters. And I just, at a very young age, I mean, I always wanted to make comics. When the teacher in public school would say, all right, everyone write what you want to be, people would put fireman, policeman. I put comic book artist.
Sure.
I just always wanted to do it, you know? And then as you get older, you know, the forces, outside forces tell you like, no, you can't do this. Don't do this. You know, it's impossible, you know? But it took a while for me to kind of figure out how to make it a career. You know, it's been a journey, and I'm sure you guys can relate as well. But it was really renewed too when I ended up interning at Marvel Comics too.
Oh, did you really?
I did, yeah. It was a really cool experience. Made me realize I do not want to work in the offices.
What year was that? When was that?
That was 2000. Okay, what was the year of Iron Man? Because that's when I was there.
Oh,
We got to go to
2008.
2008. That's when I was there, and I was there for about a year and a half, and it was a really good experience. But then I knew, like, no, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to be in the corporate part of it because I was so disappointed to see that the writers and the artists didn't work there. You know, when I was younger, I
Right.
was like, oh, I'm gonna meet everybody. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like that, you know. But it was still cool to get that experience to see the behind the scenes in the editorial rooms. You know, I worked in the bullpen, and then after that, I was like, no, you know what? I want to make the comics, and I have to really give credit to my boss at the time there. He told me, if you want to stay here, you won't be making comics. He goes, that's the mistake that happened to me. He was like,
Who was it?
It was, I don't know if you know Omar. Omar, he was in the bullpen. He was the head of the production.
What's his last name? Do you remember?
Otaku, or something like that.
I mean, the name rings a bell. Was this when they were still at shit? Was it 385 Park Avenue South?
That's it. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have to say, because he saw that I love to draw and I wanted to get, you know, perspectives and criticisms, you know, and critiques. And he told me, he goes, listen, he goes, I see you want to be an artist. I have to tell you, this is not the path to get in to do that. He goes, it just won't happen. Oh, Pete. Oh, the boss is
Hey,
here.
Pete.
I know.
What's going
Pete's
on?
always throwing shade.
You
at
gotta
Dennis.
sit up straight now, right? Like,
Deservedly so.
There we go. Okay.
And Vera Dark asked if we stole our first comics. I mean, I didn't. I paid a whole 60 cents. I know Dennis rolled his first one up and stuck it in his back pocket, walked out.
Well, I used to do that. We used to buy
See,
comic
he's a
books.
thief. He's
Well,
a
I
thief.
used to
He
roll
used to
them
do
up.
There you go.
and then
There
stick
you
them
go.
in your back pocket, and then you hopped on your bike and you rode home with it in your back pocket. I mean, that's
Oh,
what
my
comics
goodness.
used to be.
I mean,
Yeah.
now he means a tricycle because he still has yet to master a two-wheel bike.
Oh,
getting-
whatever.
We're getting the training wheels off soon.
Baby steps.
Continue.
So after that, you know, I'm really grateful that he gave me that advice, because he said, if you want to make comics, he goes, you think that this is the path to that, but what happens is, he goes, I had the same dream, and when I got
Yeah.
home after doing this, I was so tired and I just stopped drawing. And he goes, don't make that mistake. And I really took it to heart, and I'm really grateful that he was real with me and he told me that, because after that I was like, you know what, I'm going to try pursuing freelance. It wasn't easy, you know, it wasn't
Sure.
easy, the whole freelance thing. And you know, I would go to New York Comic Con and get critiqued by Neil Adams, which was
Oh, yeah.
but you know, I appreciated the severe honesty, I'll put it that way, the
Yeah,
severe honesty, you know. So, and that was it. And then just slowly trying to find my voice. It took time, and then eventually I'm very grateful that Peter, Alterna Comics, was the guy who was willing to take a chance on my dark fantasy book. And here I am 6 years later, and it's been a wild ride, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's cool. I do think. Oh, let's grab this real quick. $5.
Thank you.
Shadows Palm. Thank you. Geronimo is the man. Been collecting his comics and buying his art for a while now. Great guy. Back Blood Realm. There you
and
go.
we will be getting into Blood Realm, so
Thank
stay
you, Shadows
tuned.
Spawn. Thank you so much.
I agree with what he said, because I think if you're working a regular job, right, non-artistic, just whatever, 9 to 5, or even if it's a part-time thing, whatever.
Mhm.
going home, and even if you're tired because you weren't doing drawing during the day or even anything related to comics and stuff,
Yes, or just
it's
art in
it's
general.
motivational, so you want to do it. But if you're
Yes.
working, and interning, and you're at Marvel all day, whether you're drawing stuff or not, you're surrounded by it. So
Yes.
you want that break when you go home, and I totally understand where he's coming from.
Mhm. Yeah, it was really interesting. But it was a great introduction to see how, the offices work.
Yeah, oh
And
yeah.
that was a really tremendous experience. See the making, print ready files. It was
Yep.
cool because I had to pore over all the artwork because I would be given the artwork. I had to scan it in. I had to crop it to size, and everything sent to the letterer and the colorist. So that was always fun, but the stack was never ending, It's just it's like
Yeah.
more pages coming.
And now I know where those couple pages I never got back went.
Whoops.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. He's been looking for a scapegoat. Glad you stepped up to the plate there.
Thanks, Rob. Now, luckily, in 2008, it was at the time where I was because I was doing stuff, and I was mailing it to the inker,
Mm.
and I assume I don't know if he scanned it, because they got to a point too where they were trying to not cut corners, but save money to the point of going, okay, if the penciler mails it, FedExes it to the inker.
Yes.
Let the inker scan it, and then the inker and the penciler can work it out split the stuff, and it saves a FedEx going to the office.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So,
I remember that.
yeah.
Always trying to cut corners there when I was there. That was a common thing.
Yeah. But no, I remember 385 Park Avenue South.
Yeah.
I have fond memories of going up there in the 90s,
me too.
and I don't know if it was. I want to say it was like the 10th floor, but
it was around
it was
there. And then right above it was also Atari, and that was always a fun thing. Accidentally.
Oh wow.
staying
Oh,
on the
no
elevator.
kidding. Atari was there?
Yeah, and then and all of a sudden you would just see like the elevator would open, you just see a gigantic Godzilla there, and I'd be like, oh, hi, I'm on the wrong floor. They're like downstairs, and I'm like,
Well, that's
I
a
wanna
kid's
see the
dream.
Godzilla.
Comics and Atari, like
I
right
loved
there.
it. It was so cool.
That was like our comic book shop. It was the bottom floor it was just comics everywhere, right? But then they had a spiral stairs, and you'd go upstairs, and there were 2 floors. It was an arcade. So during the week, we would get dropped off, and you could play arcades for a few hours, and then walk downstairs, grab your books, and leave. That is literally what they had in New York. That is awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. It just everyone would talk about, oh man, I accidentally went into the Atari area. They didn't see me, and I got to see what was there. People would like make up legends, like what's it like up there?
That's freaking cool.
There's Godzilla, it was really cool. So
well, that's a cool origin story. We before we get to Fox here, though, somebody did comment. Apparently, you're a financial consultant in your real time, and you must just do comics on the side. So,
caught.
It's your turn, Fox. What is your origin story?
Secret identity.
I wonder where Jimmy lives. But I don't. That's not my day job. Yeah. So I have a really a kind of a different. I don't know, I guess different, generation or origin story in terms of like my first comic, because I don't necessarily remember what my first comic was, but I remember, I grew up in the time when a lot of the Marvel animated shows were being run, and a lot of the movies were starting to come out. And that was really my first experience with like superheroes, and with Marvel and DC. And kind of the early 2000s and that whole experience. And that really opened up the world for me, because it made me want to go, where can I find more of these character stories, and that was in comics. And so, my parents would get me action figures, and some of those action figures would come with the comics themselves at the stores and stuff. And I remember, getting a Captain Marvel action figure, and having it be, like a Jim Starlin, like Captain Marvel number 25 or something.
Yes.
Like
is that Marvel Legends, or was it those?
Yeah,
I think so.
Marvel
Yeah, it
Legends?
was. It was. Yeah,
I have.
exactly.
I don't have the figure. I have a Captain Marvel figure, not that one, but I
Yeah,
do have that comic because you can find those in like dollar boxes and stuff. And even though,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and even though I already own the real deal, whenever I see a knockoff reprint like that, I just love that stuff so much.
Yeah, yeah. And so like I remember that was one of my very first, comics and looking over that and being like, who is this character? And that was really cool. But I do fondly remember the first time my dad took me into a local comic book shop, an LCS, and what that experience was like because it was so magical. It was like
Yeah,
it was like I would see comics here and there. I had friends who might have a comic or whatever, but to be in a store where that's all there was and you could just dig through all this stuff. I was probably, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years old, and it was just incredible. And I learned about pool lists, what that was. I didn't know you could actually like get that on a monthly basis, and how really the the industry worked and what that was like. And but I fondly remember getting into, it was really the Ed Brubaker, Steve Epting Captain America
oh yeah,
run, and that made me become a Captain America fan. It made him my favorite character, and coming in on that, and I would also go to my local Barnes and Noble and pick up like Crisis on Infinite Earths or Kingdom Come, and I would just find those graphic novels everywhere, and I absorbed it all, and it didn't matter. Like I didn't really understand everything I was reading. I wanted to know, and I loved the art, and I wanted to know more about these characters, and that was just huge for me. So after loving and reading comics for so long, I realized at the end of high school that I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to write stories, and that was something that I was really passionate about. And so I went into college for creative writing, and I didn't finish, but because I was starting to work on Seasons, which was my first comic at the time, I was about 18 or 19 years old, and I realized like this is what I want to do. I want to make comic books. And so it was something that, I took a risk, and I started putting my work out there for people to read and working with artists. And, that was about 7 years ago. So from then on, I've been putting out a book or two a year, and have just been trying to, meet people and create comics and make it a full-time gig if I can.
sure. No, that's cool.
That is cool. Couple of things. I have to address this. Dennis would also steal candy cigarettes and roll them up in his shirt sleeves when he had shirt sleeves. So I can address that, Nomer, right now, Miss Nomer. I never wore sleeves. I always had tank tops, and I wouldn't steal the candy cigarettes. When I would walk in, they would pay me tribute by giving me the candy cigarettes. And yeah, just saying, didn't have to steal anything, but I appreciate that.
Sure.
And for those of you guys that are returning, I better remember to do this. We had a great discussion last week, and the discussion is revolving around this. Are pot pies and casseroles in the same food family? I put up a poll on Twitter, and there was a very heated argument, and I popped it up, and the results are in. It's closed. 73.5% of you said no, they are not in the same category, and only 26.5% said yes. And of course, Queen Mickey, have you ever had a chicken pot pie casserole? Which the answer is absolutely no. So anyway, while you guys were, for those of you here last week, which are quite a few of you, I know you were dying for that burning answer, so I had to do that before we got into these great campaigns.
Oh, there you go.
It's very important.
I can sleep tonight now knowing that most people understand the difference. So
The jury is in.
Yeah.
See, pot pies are their own food. Rich,
They are.
this is why you are my favorite. And you've taken over Andy's spot.
I don't think they're the worst. ever. It depends. My wife makes good homemade ones. I'm not down for buying like a frozen one. That's kind of gross.
Ooh, that's a good question. How many of you guys got comics without a cover that was going to be thrown away from a convenience store? Did you guys ever get to do that?
No.
No.
We did. I didn't either.
No, not in my day. They were.
Yeah, but
I think they
that
were,
was well before they were printing
Oh,
them on paper. They were still Fred Flintstone chiseling them into stone, so that's different.
coming from a guy that's only 5 weeks younger.
Wow, no shade.
I don't know, but seriously though, like I bought my first comics at a 7-Eleven convenience store on the way home from school, and I don't know what they. I mean, I guess because they were newsstand, I guess they were returnable, but I never remember seeing any. I don't remember because not only I don't know what you can probably answer this. What was first, tearing the whole cover off, or remember it got to a point where it was just the logo part of the cover? Or was it vice versa?
no. Most of the time it was that you just tore the cover off.
The whole cover.
And if you returned them, then you sent all the
covers.
Yeah, basically
It was
back.
cheap.
Yeah.
So I don't think my store actually ever, the 7-Eleven I went to, if they did it, I didn't go dumpster diving. I know Dennis did for clothing and food when he was, a young teen living on the streets. So he might have run into comics that way. I, of course, had loving parents that let me stay at home.
That is how I read my
nurtured
comics
me.
now, that Andy borrows me. Oh, I'll read this. All right, here you go. I read it. It's good. Just remember that when you get it back next time.
All right, look, I think it's very nice that you kept the refrigerator box that you lived in under the river, under the bridge by the river. I think it's great. You had it laminated, so.
Whoa! I live in a van down by the river. Get it right.
Laminated.
Ford a van out
Wow.
in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, north wherever it was. You made up a name.
I happen to like pot pies. Okay, we're kicking you off the show, Amish Ninja. Goodbye.
That's right. All right, let's show some campaigns. Rob, share your
Sure.
screen if you want, and
Absolutely.
we will go through yours first. Nobody
Okay.
wants to hear Dennis hemming and hawing anymore about living in a van down by the river. And he didn't
Although that
live
is his
where
origin
he took
story,
his
though,
victims. I mean, the
Oh.
nickname of his van was Kill.
Oh,
So
so
actually, it
pretty
was
subtle.
Kia, but for Dennis, it meant
Wow.
killed in action. So
Okay.
anyhow, let's talk about Blood Realm: Dawn of the Wolf.
All right.
Give us the
Thank you so
lowdown
much.
of
Sure.
what it's about and stuff.
Yeah, so it is a dark fantasy comic series. So that's why I was really interested to talking to you guys, because I see obviously you guys are big dark fantasy fans.
Yeah.
And one of my first introductions to that was Robert E. Howard. I just
Sure.
loved his writing. And then the comic books were just so cool because it kind of brought them to life, So, but this is a dark fantasy series that's in black, red, and white. So I wanted to keep that kind of aesthetic. And this is the story. Oh, these are some sketch cards. This is a stretch goal. We're going to be making this a foil card once we hit
that's cool.
15K. And right now, we just unlocked these statues of the main character, Chiron Morgan.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that looks
Oh.
sick.
Designed by
How tall is
Shadowpunk.
that?
He did it. This is a little
6
over
inch.
5. Yeah,
Oh,
it's just it's just under 6 inches. I couldn't call it 5, and I felt weird calling it 5.6. You know what I mean? So-
Yes.
I never feel weird calling it 5.6.
Andy's like, I'm above average.
On a
Right,
good,
right.
on a good day, I'll even go as far as saying 5.65.
There you go.
I throw in as many numbers behind that decimal as I can.
Right.
Take
I
where
had to
you
just
get it.
round it off.
For those just joining, just go back to the beginning of the show. It all makes sense.
Oh, yes, exactly. It comes full circle.
Always does.
So this is the main character, Chiron Morvel, and this chapter follows his rise, how he leads the humans out of bondage. And here we have some covers here. I am the writer and also the illustrator, but I have other artists who are also illustrating this origin
cool.
story
Okay.
of this character. We have Christian Rossi here, and I just love the artwork by Christian. He's just fantastic. He's kind of a staple at Alterna Comics. He did Trespasser, King Cryptid, and fantastic stuff.
Oh, no, I know his work. So now on this specific campaign,
Yes.
is he doing, are you writing it all and he's drawing it all? Or are you, like, how's it working?
Sure. So I have, I'm writing a couple of issues, and others I'm illustrating. So I'm
Okay.
writing all of it though. So, but
Right.
just the story is so grand and so big. This is the largest miniseries in the Blood Realm series, and it's 6 issues, 32 pages each. So I was
Oh
like, you know what,
wow.
I need a little help here. But the thing is too is that we're entering different time periods in the storyline, so it's kind of cool to have different styles for different periods. It kind of makes it feel a little bit more unique.
Yeah.
So we're seeing the rise of Chiron Morvel, and during this time, the humans are enslaved by this race of mages. They're over here. You could kind of see them. They almost have like bat-like noses. And then we go into this old time period, which is basically like our prehistoric age here, where it's like they instead of dinosaurs, it's these massive beasts that once roamed the world, and
Oh, that's cool.
early civilizations were worshiping them as gods. And that's Keir Covington here. And if you're not familiar with Blood Realm, you could literally start with the series because this miniseries, this chapter, is the earliest in the timeline, chronologically speaking. Here, there's Chiron Morval. He's going to be, I'm telling you, I'm putting him through the ringer here. You know that phrase, kill your darlings. It's like, man, in order for him to be a hero, right? He has to go through hell. What makes him end up being a leader, especially freeing and leading human beings out of bondage. And he also introduces magic to humans for the first time. That's why the mages are able to oppress the human beings. So he's gonna be put through it. Now, I'm also an art history professor by day, comic book artist by night.
Oh no shit. That's cool.
Yeah. So I adore ancient Roman art.
Yeah.
Yep.
Italian art, and I've traveled to Italy, and I just love the ruins.
Wow.
So I wanted to get some type of Colosseum type amphitheater in there. And this is a time when human flesh in this story is cheap. You know what I mean? Human beings are enslaved, and human beings are used for other races' entertainment. So we see this other goat-like race. They're all humanoids, and they're all at war with each other. So again, the question is, how the heck do humans go from this to now becoming this warrior here and this leader of Iron Wolves? So that's the story and the legend that we're going to be telling here in this miniseries. So it's been an absolute blast. All of my love of history, mythology, religion, and even the Iliad is one of my favorites. Just putting that all together into this epic story, and Conan the Barbarian. And you kind of get this.
Dennis, the Iliad is what they would term classic literature.
You mean like isn't the Odyssey?
It's one of them, yeah.
Oh, did you know that?
I did know that.
Dennis,
Dennis,
you're not
see
just
you
thinking of the
Googling
Iliad.
stuff. I can see you Googling stuff.
I don't even have to now with one.
Ilya,
finger.
how do we
I love
spell
hyper guys who
that?
don't get Rob started on Caravaggio.
Oh man, I love Caravaggio. He's one of my favorite artists of all time. Here we go. No, that's another episode.
All right.
So wonderful double page spreads by Keir
Yeah,
Covington
dude.
when we see that prehistoric age when early races of men, early civilization are worshiping these massive old beasts, and they're all vying for power over the lands of Mordrin. That's the name of our world, Mordrin. And then we also have the same place thousands of years later, now when the mages are in power. And I really told Krishna, I said, listen, we have to think about Roman Forum, Pax Romana here, the time when Rome was at the absolute peak. And he really got it. He nailed it. We have statues of the gods here and everything. So again, just to see how humans rise from this, and the character Chiron Morvel, this is the other artist we have on board, Juan Sanabria. He's doing fantastic work. And we're seeing how Chiron will have to fight all of these different demons. So here we have the demigoddess, Silgameth of lust. So he has to defeat her and kind of rise from slave to warrior and then to leader, to commander, and which will eventually lead to the great rebellion of the humans. We had a vinyl. We're all sold out, but we had a vinyl soundtrack. Yeah. So my buddy.
So wait, who did the music then?
My buddy and I, mostly him though. I got to give him all the credit. I would just give him little notes and stuff. He's the musician, and he just did a wonderful orchestral soundtrack, and it was just so cool to do that because I always wanted to produce a vinyl. I have vinyls. So This was a real tremendous experience to be able to do that.
So wait, is that a full size or a 45?
This is a 45.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 45, 14 minutes of music. We have a collector box, so you can get everything into a nice package here. And sketch card commissions by me. These are the cards that I'm doing. I do these all live on my YouTube channel, Geronimo Draws.
Oh,
All
cool.
characters from the series. Back
Yeah.
issue bundles are available as well as add-ons and T-shirts. Got to have T-shirts, right? Everyone loves a
Yeah.
good T-shirt. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, and these are the tiers too. You know, you could build your own bundle here. So you know, if you want to make your own thing up, you can do that. Digital bundle, which includes all digital comics and also the digital soundtrack. And just for $15, you can get the latest issues. That's it.
So big question for you, because I know
Please.
you're being exposed to new audience members here.
Sure.
If people, and I can already see their comments, a lot of people are loving what the art was. They
Oh,
can
I'm so
already
happy
tell
to
this
hear
is
that.
something cool.
Thank you.
You've got some of the back issues and stuff. How far back do you go for back issues? Because if you got new guys, can anybody get in, or do they have to go digital in order to start with one?
No, they can get. I only don't have a couple. I think there's about 3 or 4. The rest you can get. Those you can get from alternacomics.com, because
Okay.
I have issues that are, you know, like they're not reader copies, they're pristine copies. You know what I mean?
Right. Sure.
So I have those, but the others you can get from Alterna Comics. But the good thing is, like I said, you can just start with this, and each
Yeah.
miniseries really has its own story because it's a different perspective of this great
Cool.
big war. You know, everyone.
So
wants to get
Comics
the most-
Legend asks, can we get a taste of the music? Is it in the trailer? Will the vinyl be available again?
Yeah, because you just tickled a whole bunch of vinyl fans.
Oh,
here.
get out of here,
Yeah.
really? Oh, that's tremendous. So I have little snippets and previews. I did a whole stream with my friend who was the composer of the album on my YouTube channel, Geronimo Draws. There is a track there called Ode to the Iron Wolves, which you can listen to. And
Cool.
I will be doing a second pressing because the first pressing went quickly. That was 100 records. I did a small one because, you know, I wasn't sure how it was going to be
Yeah.
received. It's my first time doing that. So I will be doing a second pressing for sure. So maybe I'll end up putting that available as well. So yeah, guys. So that's basically
Yeah,
it.
I hope you do a second pressing because I'm one of those vinyl guys. I had gotten rid of
Oh.
it all. I used to do picture discs, and I've just like everything else. I started collecting again, so I love that stuff.
Oh, tremendous. Okay, yeah. So I will probably end up doing that very soon since you know, you're not the first people, you know, to ask about it. So yeah. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know. You know, I hope you dig everything. I'm glad the comments are positive so far.
Awesome. Well, very cool. The link is in the description. Randy Howell has posted it as well. So guys, go check that out.
Thank you. brothers.
Show it some love. Give it some support. 15 through 18 for $15. They come signed. That's a hell of a deal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
And
definitely check that out.
You can get the entire miniseries here. The first 2 are illustrated by me entirely. 13
Okay.
and 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 is the entire thing. So
Right.
yeah, for 25. So it's, you know, that's the Alterna newsprint. You know, that
Yep.
we love.
Dude, I love that
Newsprint.
paper.
Yeah, I
Right,
love
it's the
that. That's
best.
so cool.
It's
No
the
one
best.
else is doing that. It's so amazing.
I know.
Well, I love the
know.
paper. I think, you know, doing black, white, and red like that works great on it. You know, and even if it was full color, as long as you keep it nice and simple, like you're doing with the tones on this, that paper
Yeah.
just works great. It looks great. It feels great. I just, you know, I love that Pete's doing that stuff. So
I
I think
know.
that's really good.
Thank you.
I think
man.
it's really good. And then
I
Brian
appreciate it.
says, let's see, that your commissions are fantastic.
Oh,
So there you
thank
go.
you.
Thank
I do
you,
all
Brian.
sketch card commissions live on the channel. You know, this way people could have it documented and they could see it. It's a little, you know, scary to be drawing live for you know, the people are watching, you know, but
Wow, that's cool.
I got used to it a bit. And we have a great chat and discussion about all different
Yeah.
things as we're drawing. So it's a lot of fun. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
All right, Mr. Fox, let's talk about your campaign here.
Thank you so much,
All
by
right.
the way. Thank you.
Oh, of course, man. That's awesome that you're a professor. Is that something you do? Do you go to the campus or do you do it through just Zoom stuff or both or what?
No, now it's all back to in person. So
Yeah.
you know, I work at Brooklyn College. you
How many
know,
days a
and,
week do you have to go in to do it? Every day?
I go
or-
in. Is it? So I work at. So I'm basically a full-time adjunct. So
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
3 different schools. So 4 days a week. 4 days
Oh,
a week.
okay.
Yeah. So, but I love it. I love talking about history, as you could probably tell. So
Yeah,
just
yeah,
go on
yeah.
and on
Dude,
about
when
it.
I did I did adjunct teaching at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, about a decade ago. And I just loved it. I love talking about comics because it was a sequential storytelling class.
Oh, nice.
I love talking about the art of comics, how they're created, how to tell stories. I just loved it. I thought it was so fun. It just, we moved, and I don't know about up there, but here, adjunct professors, it was just basically something to do for fun. The pay was just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. I'll buy some comics or something, whatever.
Right.
I mean, dude, I had to pay for my own parking.
Yeah, no, I do too.
Yeah. I'm like, seriously, guys, you pay like shit, and I have to pay for my own parking?
I know. Thankfully, I'm in the CUNY, New York City system.
Yeah.
Because we have a union, thank God.
Yeah.
So that helped. But the other schools that
good.
don't, it's basically to pay for groceries.
Yeah, that's just it. It's just something to do, make a little extra cash and get me out of the house. But we moved, so we're not as close anymore. So it's just not worth it for the drive.
Yeah, of course.
But anyhow, moving on to yours, Nandor.
And this one's sci-fi fantasy, so I can't wait to hear this one because I love both those genres too.
Yes, yeah, thank you guys. So yeah, this is the Fabled Offering. It is my my foray into doing the sci-fi fantasy genres. This is something that I've never done before in any of my other projects. I've only done like supernatural, superhero, some like drama, just kind of slice of life stuff. But this is a one shot, and it's kind of everything that I love about these genres, like mashing them together and trying to do them both justice. So I'm a huge Star Wars fan, of course. I love Lord of the Rings. So one of my favorite comic book series is Seven to Eternity that came out a few years ago by Rick Remender and Geronimo Pena. If you're a fan of Dune or like Dungeons and Dragons, like D&D stuff, this is like right up your alley. But this is a story about the Grand Princess Aurelia, who is a warrior princess. And she has just finished fighting this huge battle and defeating this race called the Makmal. And she is on this quest to meet with this ancient being called Sizen, who is this character here. And he's an ancient deity who is kind of his function in the world is he can kind of manipulate and control time. So he's the time ancient, basically.
Very cool.
And he has three faces, and they represent the past, present, and future. And so you see that on the page here.
Oh, cool.
And,
okay.
What's so interesting about the character itself is that when he's in the room and when he's talking, he's coming from different perspectives. So like it depends on, you might see his right face, speak, and that's in the present tense or the future tense or whatever. And so he's not looking at things, from just one perspective, which is really interesting. A lot of fun to write. So Aurelia, she's on this quest, and she is trying to meet him and present an offering. And the mystery of this book is like, what is her offering? What is her negotiation? Why is she pregnant? And if she's a princess on this quest, why is she alone? And what is her end goal here? Because Sizen, he doesn't necessarily look like an ally. He doesn't look like a good guy. And so what is her motivation for doing this? It's a 46-page sci-fi fantasy adventure, and it's a story that is about making impossible choices in the face of fate and destiny. So she's really a character. All my stories are very character driven, and they're meant to make you get behind the character, cheer for the character, and hopefully come out on the other end of their struggles together. And so I'm working with an amazing team. Marco Roblin is the artist of this book, and he's doing all of the inks and colors. He does it all, and it has a very like kind of 70s sci-fi, like heavy metal vibe to it, which is
That's what
something
I
that,
was going to say.
yeah, yeah,
That's what it
Totally
exactly
see that.
reminded me of, was heavy metal.
Yeah, when I
right,
first looked
Yep.
at it, it's got kind of like the heavy metal European vibe to it. His
yes,
color palette is very different and unique, but it works. You
hmm
know,
right, yeah.
um,
It has like kind of a like a trippy psychedelic nature
yeah,
to it, where it feels alien, and that's kind of that plays into kind of the sci-fi aspect of it, even though a lot of the visuals and kind of the world itself feels very grounded in fantasy. And so that was kind of an interesting balance to find, because I was thinking about the world, and while I was doing all this world building, thinking about how to make it mesh well, and the deities themselves, they kind of represent, or they, what you see of them more so has the technological side of things, and the people on this planet, it's more grounded, more kind of gritty, and has a lot of the fantasy elements that we come to know.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of different variant covers to choose from. I'll go through these really quickly.
Sure.
The
Go ahead.
first one is by Marco Roblin, the interior artist of the book, and this is a wraparound cover, and this features Aurelia and a couple other characters in the story itself. And then we also have this cover by Will Playdon, which was traditionally painted by Will. This was one of the first. I kind of dub it the conceptual cover, because this was the first time that I was able to kind of get. I worked with him on getting the designs and kind of the feel and the vibe of this world and what it's going to feel like. So this is actually a piece that I actually own. It's beautiful,
That's
beautiful
cool.
painted piece. We also have this other traditionally oil painted piece by Cortez Flavio, and you can see Aurelia there, surrounded by the three faces of Sizen around her, and it's definitely a very like saturated piece that has a lot of kind of mystery behind it. But I really love something about Cortez. He's done a few horror comics for Dark Horse, and his work is just very, very like identifiable. Like when you see it, you're like, like that's him. But we also have another cover by Ario Murti, which features Aurelia and Sizen. And this one kind of has a story behind it. You're kind of like, okay, are they fighting alongside each other? Why are they reaching for this baby here? Is this Aurelia's child? And they're also fighting off some other creatures here. So this is one of my favorite covers. But we also have cover E by Riccardo Latina and Valentina Bianconi. And this features Aurelia's loyal steed, Anobicus. So there's a cyber horse in the story,
That's
guys.
cool.
So
Love cyber.
Yeah, that's freaking cool looking.
yeah, and
Very
I
heavy metal with that one for sure. Yeah, that's a
definitely,
nice
definitely.
design.
And this is a moment of kind of like they're having this shared moment of solidarity together, and somberness, where Aurelia, she's trying to get to this mountain, which is where Sizen's ship always kind of annually comes down and meets with the people. And she's having a moment of second thoughts and a lot of doubt. And her horse Anobicus is here to kind of like comfort her in this moment. And it's raining blood. It just has a lot of great atmosphere to it that I'm really really proud of. I'm really proud of how it turned out. And then the final cover that you can get is by Marco Rudy, and this was also traditionally painted by him, and also a piece that I own. And it features Aurelia, and the sword you can see is kind of the backdrop, and you see Anobicus, the horse, right there, kind of in the center. So it's very if you're a fan of kind of high fantasy, high sci-fi themes, and kind of going for that, you really get that sense here. And it's one, I love all these covers. It's hard to choose, my favorite, but I really do. I really do.
I hear you.
I'm proud of all of them for sure. And so, it's 46 pages. You can get the PDF for $6, which is, such a steal, such a deal. And The cover A wraparound is 14, and then all the variant covers are 20, and except for E and F, which are 25. And all of these come with the PDF as well. So you can get both physical and digital. You can also get all the covers if you want. I also have a tier where you can get the Foxhole Comics bundle, which is my imprint. This features and includes all of my previous books, such as Manchild or Seasons or Lifeline. And I'll go. You can get this print as well by Rick Rother that you can add on. I will say we'll talk about my other books real quick in case people are interested. So you can add on all of these books individually. You don't have to get the Foxhole Comics bundle to get each book, but if you're interested in anything else that I've written, you can get Manchild, which is kind of my 60s, 70s era kind of nostalgic throwback book. That's a superhero action comedy about Rufus Boston, who's this character here. And he's a comic book nerd. He loves superheroes. He loves comics. And he hangs out with his friends. You know, every Wednesday is a Wednesday Warrior. And
did you say his name is Dennis Turner?
my wings don't look that cool, Andy.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny because I gotta say, the more that I shop this book around and show people Manchild, I get so many people who are like, "Did you like base this off my life, or like, or off this person that I know?" You know, and it's so funny because it really hits home. But you know, it's a commentary on the beauty and kind of the pitfalls of, you know, being a child at heart. Like when is it a good time to grow up? You know, do we ever grow up?
Right.
You know, what is that like? And kind of balancing that. But while you're reading about Rufus and his own life, you're also reading about this butterfly superhero character named the Monarch Crier. And you're reading these two stories simultaneously, and the mystery behind this series is how these two worlds collide, what their connection is. And so what's so cool about this story is that when you're with Rufus in the real world, you're kind of reading it like modern day style comic book is told. But when you get to all the Monarch Crier bits, it's very much in line with that alliteration Stan Lee kind of way of storytelling. And so it's this back and forth, and it's a lot of fun because you're kind of I'm playing with the contrast of fantasy and reality and how they inform each other. So that's a series that we're issue 3 will be coming out very soon, but we have issues 1 and 2 available. We also have Lifeline, which is my original graphic novel. I worked with 7 different artists from all around the world, and they each contributed a different chapter. It tells a life story of this character named Lewis Wakefield, and you see his life through the eyes of different people. So with every chapter, with every art style change, you know, chapter 1 is told from the perspective of his father, while chapter 4 is told from the perspective of his daughter. And so you get to see how kind of this character's life has changed throughout the years. And it's a story about legacy. It's a story about family and, you know, what you leave behind. So there's that. And that's a 96 page graphic novel. And then also I have Seasons, which I only have volume 2 hardcovers available physically. You can get the PDF for volume 1, but I'm all sold out of physical copies of volume 1, and I'm going to be reprinting those soon as trade paperbacks. But if I did run a campaign for Seasons on Indiegogo a few years ago, and so if anyone picked up volume 1 and they still want to pick up volume 2, that you can. This is a supernatural superhero story about Fletcher, who his abilities change with every passing season. So he's having to figure out, you know, why he has these powers and why they keep changing. And also, you know, he's fighting these supernatural forces with every book, and each book kind of has its own narrative and like standalone story. But it'll be 4 volumes altogether, and you'll be able to follow him on this 1-year journey. So that's kind of the goal of the story in the book, is to, you know, see how his life changes and how the man he starts out to be, how he becomes the man he's always wanted to be by the end. So yeah, that's where we are. I also have a few stretch goals, which we have the sticker that's been unlocked for all backers. If we hit $1,000, we will unlock this trading card of Grand Princess Aurelia. And then I also have where we can unlock the Sizen trading card. If we hit $3,500, I'll print a black and white director's cut of the book that every backer will get along with the full color version.
Wow.
That's huge.
And yeah. So I'm really excited about that. And then if we hit 5K, every backer will get a mark of size and temporary tattoo. So Aurelia in the story, she gains this tattoo that is on both of her hands, and it's something that I thought would be really cool for backers to get, where I could like kind of replicate that for them, and they could have that. And then if we hit 7,500, we will make kind of a world map or a map of Aurelia's journey from her kingdom of Telindius to Mount Gephyra, where she's going to meet Sizen. So this is really exciting. I had launched this campaign on Kickstarter last year and funded, and so this is a second chance campaign that I'm hoping to, while we're getting the book lettered right now, the art's completely done. We're getting it lettered, and so if anyone wants to get on it before we send it to the printer, now's the time to do it. And I'm very excited about this book. It's a standalone story. You get a full emotional arc for Aurelia, and you get to see her go through this beginning, middle, and end of her journey. But it's also, I did a lot of world building. There's a lot there that I could definitely expand upon. And if people really enjoy it and they want more, it's definitely something that we can do. But if you want kind of, if you want what I have to offer, not to make that a pun, but like if you are looking to kind of see what I'm capable of as a writer, if you've never read any of my works before, if you don't want to get in on a series or anything like that, this is the book to do that, because you get a full story and you also get to kind of, see something that, hopefully if you enjoy, you might enjoy my other books as well.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. And why don't you hit your refresh screen? Because I see Randy had posted that each of you guys have picked up some backers.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. We're almost set.
Wow, $17 away from that stretch goal. Come on, people. Let's hit that stretch goal while we're
get
on
that
here.
trading card.
Somebody needs that book right now.
That would be so amazing. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you so much. Tremendous, unbelievable
beautiful
support.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
And while somebody get in there and do it, we will of course talk about there it is, Kor-Drath the Awakening, the hit or the follow-up to the smash hit Kor-Drath the Reckoning. Guys, go check this out. Campaign the first 30 or next Wednesday. That is when it comes up. We will be doing a special stream for that next Wednesday. Boom! Just heard a big block of thunder.
The gods are angry with you for all the shade you threw today.
Crazy.
It literally started off the stream looking out. There's windows right in front of us, sunny, and now it looks like it's about 9 o'clock at night. That's how dark it has gotten. And yeah, the thunder just boomed down on us. Boom, boom, goes the thunder. So guys, check out Kor-Drath the Awakening. The story picks up. Vordoom the Undying is the big bad, introduced at the end of Kor-Drath the Reckoning. He is on the hunt for these artifacts. Kor-Drath needs to get to them first. Who will get there? Adriana's tribe is now in Vordoom's crosshairs. Kor-Drath needs to protect her tribe, unlike what he couldn't do to protect his own tribe that was totally wiped out in the first book. Go check it out. We've got multiple covers. Of course, you've got the main cover by myself and Dandy Dan Lawless. The homage cover by myself. Dan, of course, worked up a great cover with Bud Root on black and white art. Dan colored it. It matches so well with... Oh, get over there, little mousy mouse cursor, so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, it pairs so nicely with the first cover that Bud and Dan did for Kor-Drath the Reckoning. You can put the two covers together. If you missed out on the first cover featuring Lilith, you can get that and the Adriana cover together on this campaign. We are doing a black and white edition of the book. That it's not an artist edition. It's not oversized hardcover, nothing like the artist edition from the first book. This is regular graphic novel size. So you can read it and just soak in the black and white artwork that I did. We got preview pages up, so you can check those out. Oh, there's that Vordoom guy. That awful Vordoom guy. And that's right. 4 backers away from 500. Go to it. Character description: Demise and Dracomort. The next. Oh, thanks, GJ. Sorry. Dyslexia. Oh, what fun it is to have. That's why I always call Dennis Endis.
Oh, dear God.
I get it wrong all the time.
Dear Lord, just keep going.
Just keep going.
Oh,
A new game module for a new campaign that Dennis wrote. If you like the first game module, Mayhem in the Mirador Mountains, you're definitely going to dig this one. These are totally different stories from the graphic novel. And this one, of course, like the other one, it's playable, 5th edition rules. The cover is drawn by Bart Sears and Dan Lawless, once again combining to bring a great fantasy piece together for the cover of the book. So you can back that. Scrolling down the wrong side.
Kor-Drath is such a great book. I've read it multiple times, and I enjoy all the characters, especially Necronite and Vordoom.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
The parody ad is back. Once again, I put a parody ad in every one of my books. Draw it in a simpler throwback type style. Oh, come on, 5th edition isn't that bad.
Whoa. There's a reason we first one was, but I will say this. Many of you guys that went out there, a lot of you guys play 1st, 2nd, 3rd edition. All of you converted them over, told me how well it did. So it's super easy to convert. If you don't want it, then do it. Yeah, Hyper. You got to be a good GM. It'll take you 15 minutes to convert over. So we can't put it out in every single edition. So just saying.
That's right. And unlike puberty blockers, you can convert back with no harmful side effects. Guys, the first stretch goal at 50,000, just like the first campaign, is the first playable character card. This time it's featuring Vordoom the Undying, the big bad guy himself with his little harem of undead hotties. Below him at his feet on the front by myself and Dan Lawless. On the back, Dennis came up with some awesome character stats. So pause it if you want so you can read over those stats. He is a badass. Let's see. Stupid mouse, got to scroll. And then, of course, we have some great add-ons. We've got Kor-Drath, The Awakening, the layouts. It's just the whole book of my pencils before I go to start inking, so you can see how much pencil I put on paper before I start inking. Sometimes it's not a lot. Sometimes it is. It just depends on the scene. So you got that. We've got the manga version of Kor-Drath, The Reckoning. It's in total black and white. We edited it, so it's E for everyone now, and that is smaller digest manga size. We've got a color digest version, 5.5 by 8.5, also edited, E for everyone. So we did get feedback. Dennis's daughter is a teacher, and she's like, well, I'd like to take this to school. And we're like, what, the violence? She's like, no, the violence is fine for the middle schoolers. It's that one page of Kor-Drath and Adriana having a little fun, if you know what I mean. I'll explain that to you
It's
later.
going back to junk. So we just started from the beginning of the show, and it comes all the way around towards the tail end.
But not in these books. These are E for everyone.
They are E for everyone. We had quite a few people saying, I love the story. I would love to be able to let my kids read it, but so now you can.
That's right. And you can also add on, we've got a 2-inch figure, a 3-inch, and a 5-inch Kor-Drath figure. The 5-inch, we got prototypes of each one made. The 5-inch is actually out in the hands of Chris Thacker, who is painting it now. He paints miniatures, and he's been posting progress shots. Go follow him. He's doing a fantastic job on it. They do not come painted, but they do come in that nice little clamshell clear plastic there. So check that out.
Hyper says Andy has a 2-inch figure.
So what? So
well, after the extension, it's been doubled. So he's a proud man.
No,
now.
Dennis, that's what the funds are for, is for the extension, you silly goose. We're trying to sell books. And of course, you can get the collector's box by itself as an add-on, or over here in the featured tier, the Kor-Drath Awakening bundle includes every cover. It includes the game module, the Adriana trading card, which you can either buy separately or you get for free if you signed up and backed the campaign. Scrolling down, you've got everything. It's like Burger King. We like to have it so you can have it your way. You can get cover A on checkout, add on any of the other covers or vice versa. I still have to put on the main page, there is a Budroot line art cover that is available. We did that on the first campaign with Lilith. We're doing it again with Adriana. And going back to print for a second print of The Reckoning with a new Budroot cover.
Yeah, another Budroot cover with Dan Lawless colors on his cover.
That's right. And of course, the catch-up tier with that cover second printing and the cover A for The Awakening. Get yourself a head sketch by me, any character of your choice. We just added a retailer pack. We did that before. 10 books. Once the campaign's over, we'll contact you and you tell us how you want to break up the 10 books. It might be two of each of the 5 covers, one of this one,
any combination,
9, any combo you want. Figure sketch, character of your choice. The Big Bad Booty Daddy box is The Awakening and The Reckoning. Everything,
every single thing that we put out, everything, both game modules, all the covers, both trading cards, the collector's box, get it all. And we did add a retailer pack for 25 copies of the book, biggest discount ever. And once again, on fulfillment, we'll talk with you to figure out what covers you want, or you might just be like, I want all cover A. It's up to you. We don't mind. And the Big Bad Booty box there is limited to 50 because we do have limited copies available of The Reckoning, the various covers and such. And on checkout, you can also add on some of the few covers as well. So if you wanted just cover A from The Reckoning, that's fine. You can do that. So there you go. That is Kor-Drath, The Awakening. Go check it out. Links for all these campaigns are in the description below. I wanted to do an update because we didn't get Geronimo's update, but there it is. I picked up 3 more backers as well. So, guys, we love to see when we have our guests on that DNA bump always comes forward. So love to hear that.
That's right. Unfortunately, when the show's over, I get a DNA bump, but it's not what you expect and definitely not something you want. Those aren't pillows, Dennis.
Honestly, oh my God, you just can't stop.
I don't know what you're talking about. You and your innuendo. I'm plain as day, and you read into everything. My God.
What do you mean? Rob's laughing. He understands what you're trying to put down.
He's always smiling. I
of course, this is how they talk back in the Roman times in the bathhouses. I did my research.
He knows.
You were in the bathhouses. I know you're that old.
Hey, I'm not the one going to San Francisco to visit bathhouses, Dennis. You are. Wow. Well, look, our lights flickered. All right.
It's getting bad.
It is. I'm not kidding. It is dark outside. DNA forensics. Yeah. Guys, we will be back. Refresh Fabled.
Hold on.
Refresh.
Whoa. Look at that.
Look at that bump.
Look at that. We hit a stretch, and boy, did you hit a bump.
Wow.
Nice.
Goodness gracious, guys. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Everyone gets a trading card now. So
look at that. Fantastic.
Here we go.
Only because of the DNA show. Thank you guys for propping us up once again. You guys are the best.
That's right. Helps us get guests, and so we don't have to go out and beg and plead and stuff.
Like he does at the bathhouses. We know.
Shut your mouth. I did that once. I didn't know what I was getting into. Guys, thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Fox, and thank you, Rob, for joining us as well. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hope it was good for you. I need a sandwich. So we're going to take off. We'll be back next week at 3 p.m. with another guest. Jeff Grogan is his name. Great cartoonist. I was on his podcast, and we're returning the favor. He's coming on ours. We'll be back Friday with our movie review of Kingdom
of the Planet of the Apes. The next installment, but a new creative team. So I'll be very curious to see how this works.
And then I am going to try and catch Fall Guy this weekend. Dennis already saw it. Well, we are going to do a review. You can tell what he thought of it right there. So join us for that. Hopefully next week we'll drop it after I see it over the weekend. Until then, thank you for joining. Like, subscribe, and share to all the channels.
Everything's down below. You guys, if you're watching this on replay, go back there. Go back all of these great books
That's
by
right.
just clicking the links below.
All
Me
right.
too.
Live long and prosper.
Peace out, yo. Bye, everybody.